to the Backyard Machine Shop. Well guys, the channel's hit 1 million views. And it don't seem like much to a lot of the YouTubers out there or to a lot of the contributors, but that is kind of a milestone when you're starting out. And I've been doing this for 3 or maybe 4 years. I've had some videos that's way back, you know, several years ago, but they were little tiny videos just playing around. Anyway, thank you. It wouldn't have been possible without the viewership. Also, we're just about to hit another milestone, which is going to be 10,000 subs. Currently, I'm at like 9,750. So next couple weeks, next month or so, should be over 10,000. Again, thank you. I never thought that I would be in that position. So today we're going to have a shop status number 5. And what we're going to do in the shop status, first of all, we're going to cover a couple of new items in the shop. One was an eBay purchase and one was actually a viewer gift, and I really appreciate it a lot. Next, we're going to go over, I've been trying to think of what the next project I want to do. I almost started on one the other day and I backed off of it. So I wanted to do something like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 4 projects and I'm going to kind of just show them to you. I think one of them I'm not even going to be able to show you really because it's packed away in a corner in the other shop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these projects and you guys are going to select the next project for the Backyard Machine Shop. Now these projects are pretty much, with the exception of one, are eyesores in the shop. And what I mean by eyesores is I've had them in the shop for multiple years and I walk by them, I look at them and I go, I need to fix that one day, and I never do. So we're going to tackle one of these projects in an upcoming video and you're going to choose which one it's going to be. Alright, so basically what's going to happen is, alright, so the first thing we're doing, we're going to cover the two little things in the shop. So the first one is I have a new tool holder, and this is one that you can put a 3/8 tool bit in and use it to set your angles, and it's a variable angle tool bit. So I purchased this on eBay. I've been looking for one for a while that I wanted and I finally found it. And so we're going to start using it on the G&E shaper pretty soon. So stay by the channel and wait for that to happen. The next one was a viewer gift, and I was contacted by Mike Nixon. And Mike Nixon, he sent along a gift for my wife Kelly, which he put in his little note here that us YouTubers get all the good stuff. So he's making things for our wives, which is cool. Wife really liked them. I left them out here in the shop until I did this video where I can show them off. But what Mike did, Mike made some nice little coasters and aluminum. They got felt on the back, and you don't know how bad I need these in the house because I get fussed at all the time about leaving a drink on my end table next to where I sit and watch YouTube. So guys, so Mike Nixon, thank you a lot. My wife thanks you. I would have her on the camera, but she's not here right now. So I'm shooting this video without her. So anyway, she said thank you, and you will see these in the house next time you see them. All right, so again, thank you guys for the views. Thank you for the subscriptions. You know, that's awesome. All right, so what we're going to do to celebrate that 1 millionth view, like I said, is we're going to select the next project in the shop. Now I've narrowed it down to 4 projects, and like I said, these are going to be what I'm calling eyesores in the shop. I love the machines. They're not eyesores in that respect, but what they are is they're machines that I've brought in here knowing they needed work, and for some reason or another I've quit working on them and let them sit for a while. So with the exception of one, and we'll cover it first, okay? All right guys, so the number one thing that we're going to look at, so this is going to be choice number 1, is the reed vise. Now I covered this reed vise in one of the past videos. This reed vise I got from my dad, or I got from my mom. My dad passed away last year, and this was in his shop. When I was a kid, and I'm thinking 12, 13, 14 years old, my dad brought this vise home from the foundry he worked in. My dad was a pattern maker supervisor in a foundry in Savannah, and he somehow obtained this vise. I think what it was is there's a screw on the bottom of this vise that is messed up, so it doesn't sit flat. And I'm just guessing. When he come home, he told me there was a problem with it. Well, he never did fix it, but he did use it over the years. He just drilled a hole in this table and set that little bolt down there on the swivel through it and used it. Now it cranks in and out, It's a little stiff because it's probably haven't been greased in years. Anyway, it works good. It's a reed number 206. Now I did some research. Most reed vices you see are this size are 206Rs, and I don't know what the R stands for. It may stand for removable jaws. This vise has a set of jaws that are non-removable. But anyway, this was from my dad's shop, and I'd wanted this vise for, I don't know, 10 years maybe, and he never would give it up to me. But anyway, it's in my shop now, and as a tribute to my dad, I'm gonna restore it and use it here in the shop. So, you guys, this is the first. Well, back to more of it. I assume the foundry he worked in, it was open in the early 1900s, like 1910 or something like that. And this vise is of early 1900s, and it's a good chance that this was an original piece of equipment in that foundry. So anyway, this is choice number one. We're going to do a total restore on this reed vise. So again, this is the one that's not been an eyesore in the shop for a couple years. It just came into the shop in the last few months. So anyway, choice number one, reed number 206 vise. All right, guys, so here we are with choice number two. This is a Kearney Trekker number 2CH vertical mill. Now, I brought this in the shop a couple years ago, went in new bearings in the motor, and did a video on it, did a couple little videos of it running and stuff, but there's a problem with it, and I covered that in that video. So if you really want to see what the problem is in more detail, go back to that video about the Kearney Trekker 2CH. But anyway, this machine needs a new Y-axis screw and nut. Now, I called Parts and Parts, and they had one. They wanted $800 for just a screw, and that's more than I'm willing to spend on it right now. But it may be the best choice when I start on this thing. But anyway, the project's going to be is we're going to go in here and we're going to take it apart, see if we can fix that screw. Now the problem with the screw, I think, is there's a gearbox under there, under the table, that controls the X-axis travel on the machine. It actually powers the rod that drives the X-axis travel. That gearbox has got broken bolt ears on it, and so it's moving around. The nut is actually fastened to that, so when you're trying to run Y-axis, you're binding that gearbox, and that's probably what wore out the screw as well. Other than that, this machine's in great shape. It's got a little oil leak, which ain't no problem, but I'm ready to get it back in service. So I think it's mid-1950s vintage. Anyway, if you want to see more about the more about this Kearney Trekker 2CH, go back and watch the videos, or wait till voted in. You know, if you want to see more about it, vote it in, guys. We got some cool stuff that goes with it, and that'll be part of the project too. So number two project is going to be Kearney Trekker 2CH Y-axis nut and gearbox. All right. All right, guys. So project number three. Now, I thought about cleaning this table off and getting a better view of this machine, but you know what? This is the way it sits, and this is why I say it's an eyesore in the shop, because I'm not running it, I'm not using it, I'm not paying any attention. The only thing I'm using it for is a table, and so I got junk piled up on the table, and it's like every other flat surface in the shop, it collects. So a lot of you guys have asked about this machine in videos, and because you see it in the background a lot, like the number 2 G&E is right here to my left. At one point I had the old Royceford drill press here, and you can't pan around the shop without seeing this big old monster. But what it is an Oliver number 15 bandsaw. Now, I've had this bandsaw since about 2009. I have a lot of information on this bandsaw. It was built in 1910. It was sold to a foundry here in Savannah, Georgia, called the Kehoe Foundry, and they used it in their foundry. Kehoe Foundry was a well-established business in Savannah in the early 1900s, and at some point, I think during the Depression, they went out of business and went under. The building actually still stands today in Savannah, and it's actually part of SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. It's part of their campus. Beautiful building. I have some old pictures of actually when the foundry was in service back in the 20s, and some of the stuff that they were making laying around in the shop. Well, to add to the story, when the foundry went out of business, there were two brothers that worked there, and those two brothers needed something to do, make a living. So they ended up buying this bandsaw from the foundry. They took it out on one of the islands of Savannah, it's near Skidaway Island, on a road called Ferguson Avenue. They set it up under a shed, and they built shrimp boats. And there's still some of those shrimp boats floating around today. Well, in about 2007, 2008, a gentleman found this, and he was part of the old woodworking machine for him. And he did a little research of it, contacted the family, or the family had contacted him about it. I'm not sure how it went. But he had a write-up about the saw and what the gentleman that used it. Well, he rescued the saw out of a collapsing shed. He brought it home, and this guy was a surgeon. And at some point, he decided that his fingers were more important than restoring this old bandsaw. So through the woodworking forum, I got in contact with him. I went by to look at it for somebody. They decided not to buy it. I ended up buying it really cheap. Well, I brought it home. I completely restored it, repainted it, and it's done rusted back up now. But when I put it back together, I had issues with the upper bearing. It was binding up, and so I decided to report a bearing. And it's been about 7 years. Here's the shaft, the bearing's in the other room, and it's been about 7 years and I haven't done anything with it. So the project that I want to do with it now is not going to restore it back to a woodworking saw. What I want to do, and through the use of probably the gearbox that's on the G&E, switching it out with another gearbox I want to make this a metal working bandsaw. I need to slow it down to about 30 RPM, and then with an upper speed of about 100 RPM to cut aluminum and stuff, and about 30 RPM to cut metal. I forgot what the surface feet a minute was at 30, but it's really still up there, but it's good enough to cut metal. So again, project number 3 will be this Oliver number 15 bandsaw. And really and truly, this has been here, sitting here for years, and it's too big to get out of the shop, so I'm gonna have to use it. So guys, if you'd like to see the Oliver restored back to useful condition as a metal working bandsaw, and even give me feedback on that. If you don't think that's a good idea, if enough people can convince me, I might just restore it back to a woodworking bandsaw and let's leave it sitting right here. But anyway, I'm gonna have to pour upper bearings and basically clean it back up, and that's all it really needs. And if I need to make it a metal working saw, we need to put a gearbox on it. Now this thing's got some cool stuff. You'll have to believe me when I start working on it. If you want to see it, vote for this Oliver number 15 bandsaw. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, I'm here as close as I can get. It's kind of dark in here too. This is my cabinet shop. Let me open up the door and we'll do something about this darkness, I think. All right, guys, so here we are. I think I might have moved you around a little bit. We're here in the shop. This is the cabinet shop, but right now it's the storage facility for the backyard machine shop. And if you look around, it's a big mess. And this whole shop's an eyesore when I start talking about eyesores. But what we have here is we have a Johnson, I don't even know the model number, but it's a horizontal bandsaw. I think it's a 109, I can't remember. But anyway, I came about this saw kind of in a roundabout way. I got contacted by an old WWM member that lives up in New York, and he'd asked me if I would pick this saw up and see if I could get it dropped off to somebody and eventually make the trip up to New York. And so I did. I took some time off, actually took a vacation day and went by and picked up this saw. And this saw was in the Grinnell Foundry here in Statesboro, Georgia for years. It's got a couple little issues, but it was actually working when I picked it up. But I've been wanting to restore it too. It's in a pretty eyesore condition, but I think it's salvageable. I know it's got a casting or two that's been brazed back up, but I think they're a good enough job that we don't have to worry about it. But anyway, back to the story. The gentleman called me and I picked it up and I put it here, and he'd made several attempts over a year or so to get somebody to come by here and pick it up, and the guys, with the thing about that, we had a system that moved along this equipment. I think that's kind of slowed down a lot over the years. Me and Keith Rucker used to do most of it. When we went up to Orange Fest, we'd haul a substantial trailer load back and forth from Georgia to Orange Fest, and the term ruckering actually come from Keith Rucker, and that's what the term on OWWM is. But anyway, with several attempts, it's too big really to fit in the back of a truck, so you have to haul a trailer. So there was a lot of things working against this gentleman about getting this saw up there. So I told him from the beginning not to sweat it, that I'd buy it from him if he didn't get it up there. So after a while, he just went ahead and let me purchase it from him. So it's been sitting here. I've never sawn a piece of metal with it. I did run it for a few minutes, but just to see if it would run. So it's going to be a pretty substantial project, but it's a project that I need here in the shop that I've been putting off again for, I don't know, 3 years maybe. So guys, project number 4. If you want to see more about this Johnson bandsaw, you vote for it, and we'll rebuild it. So, okay. All right, guys, there you have it. There's the 4 projects that I'm considering to do next. Now, we still got the John Doe shaper. It's up there at Brian's place. Should be back in October. There's still a lot of work that can be done until it gets back, like some scraping in, some in the covers and stuff. But I'm gonna back off the John Doe shaper, and I'm gonna do this viewer's choice project. Now, project number 1 is the vise. That should be a short project. Shouldn't take but a video or 2. Tear it down, clean it up, paint it up, and fix anything that needs to be fixed. Project number 2, the Kearney Tracker 2H. That can be anywhere from medium to a long project, probably several videos. It depends on how depth I have to go into tearing it apart to get to what I need. So project number 2, I'd say is a medium to a hard project and a medium to long project length. Project number 3, the Oliver number 15 bandsaw. That should be a pretty short project. Re-pour Babbitt bearings, find the gearbox. If it becomes a metal saw, that'll work. Harness them, put the motor on it, and get a blade and clean it up. Should be working. Project number 3, number 4, the Johnson bandsaw. I don't know, man. That thing is a mess. It's a total tear down. Wipe it out, motor mounts, fix and brazing if I need to, making up some sheet metal, whatever. It's open to, it's probably medium to hard like the Kearney Tracker. So guys, here's how we're going to do it. I'm going out to Stanley Zinkowski's for the bash end of this week. And so I'm going to be out of pocket a little bit, no videos or whatever. But during this time, watch the video and make your decision and vote. Sometime next week when I get back, well, the following week, I'm still going to be going out. Me and the wife, we're taking the opportunity to go out to California to do some bucket list items. You name it, there's all kind of stuff that we're going to be doing. And some of it's going to be on video because there's some really cool opportunities I got coming up. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's awesome. So you have to stay tuned for that too. But anyway, in the next week or two, when I get back, and it looks like things are winding down on the voting, what we're going to do is I'll take whatever is the most requested or voted on is the project we'll do, and we'll start on that probably the following week. Now, this is summertime here in South Georgia, so right now it's 91 degrees in this shop, and you see the sweat pouring off my head. I don't have any fans on. So you got to understand that things take a while this time of year because a fat man like me at 90% humidity and 90 degrees is going to do a lot of sweating. And the last thing I want to do is sweat on camera. So you have to take your time. You have to do it at certain times of the day. You have to run fans, and you have to change clothes a lot. So guys, that's the way it's going to be. So all these projects are going to probably take, that's why you see me slow down in the summertime on projects. That I'm sweating now. You see me, I'm having to wipe the sweat off. So guys, again, thank you for the 1 million views. And thank you for coming up 10,000. When we get 10,000 subscribers, we're going to do something else too. All right, so another thing I got going on is I've ordered some t-shirts. I've never done that. I've wanted to. I had a local company here make them. I should be picking them up today or tomorrow. I'm going to have them out at the bash. A lot of them's already got names on them as far as who they're going to. If I have any left over, we'll hand out some of them. Some new stickers. If anybody needs stickers, send me a address. I'll fire you off some stickers. And other than that, I look forward to seeing a lot of you guys out at the bash. I went out there a couple years ago, had a ball. Only had like 2,000 subscribers in. Now I got like 10,000. So there's going to be that many more of you that watch my channel that's going to be there. Again, thank you for the 1 million views. Thank you for almost 10,000 subscribers. I hope to hit it probably in the next couple of weeks. And thank you for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button, and thank you for commenting. Guys, it's your choice. The next video, it's all yours. You let me know what you want to see, and we'll make it happen. So, from the Backyard Machine Shop, so long.